know I'm going to eat
so
and go again this
good
morning.
morning. We're dealing with vitamin A this morning.
Vitamin A this morning. A is for apple. Go ahead.
All right, so you know vitamin A is what we call the retinols. All right. How we going to tackle it is from the order, because vitamins are listed, or they were named based on the time that they were discovered. So we're going to start from the first one, except vitamin K. Vitamin K, the name K did not come from when it was discovered. It came from the Danish word, the first letter for what you call it. Because of the K for I'll come to that.
All right.
I'll come back to that one day. All right. Because the word just slipped me. You know, just call it Prescription when you have it in your head
And it just, it happens to me a lot of the morning.
Coagulation. Right? So it's K for coagulation.
Right.
So vitamin K, which is the retinols, right? The word itself comes from a Greek word that meant resin. So I am assuming that it's because of your retinol with your eyes having that kind of look like resin, transparent, kind of clearish kind of look. I believe that is where it comes from. So vitamin A was first discovered in 1916. It was then isolated firstly in 1931. All right, then it was synthesized in 1947 and then commercialized, being a synthetic drug that could be sold in 1948.
Okay.
Now, last week I talked about the difference between the water-soluble and the fat-soluble vitamin. So vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin, meaning deficiency is less likely to take place with a fat-soluble vitamin than with a water-soluble vitamin.
Okay.
But you can have overconsumption, or what you might call hypervitaminosis, which you have too much of vitamin A. Strangely enough, a lot of people, a lot of countries in the world still suffer from a vitamin A deficiency, which can lead to conditions like xerophthalmia, which has to do with dry eyes, when you have difficulties with night vision, and that can lead to even blindness. All right. So a deficiency of vitamin A can cause those conditions. It have actually been contributed to actually leading to things like cancer.
Okay. Hello?
Hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, so you can also develop bone issues, bone and teeth issues with a vitamin A deficiency. All right. Vitamin E also comes in play with regards to vitamin A, because vitamin E, being an antioxidant, helps with reducing oxidation of lipids, and because vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin, when you have better use of lipids, you can get better absorption of vitamin A. But vitamin A has three forms. You have retinol, you have with an O, you have retinol with an A, and then you have retinolic acid, which is the most active form. Now, most people associate vitamin A with beta-carotene, which you get from carrots and your green leafies and whatnot. All right. Now, something interesting with that is most people are unaware of the fact that it is 10 to 24 times more difficult to convert beta-carotene into retinol. All right. It's much more difficult. And one of the reasons for that difficulty as well has to do with zinc. Zinc is needed in order to convert retinol into the retinolic acid, or sorry, the beta-carotene into the retinolic acid, right? So you need zinc. You need zinc to even convert retinol into retinol with the A, all right?
Okay.
So zinc is required, but the sources of beta-carotene also comes in with something called phytic acid, or what some might call phytic acid, which blocks the absorption of zinc. All right. So this is why a plant-based source of vitamin A is definitely not the best source. You could end up with deficiencies, and this is why, even though it being a fat-soluble deficiency is supposed to be rare, it is still quite common, because people are getting going after beta-carotene instead of going after retinol. Now, you can get retinol from animal-based foods. Animal-based foods, things like liver and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get it from supplements. Of course, for those that follow me on the program know that I am no promoter of
Yeah, you don't deal with supplements at all. It does always say that, yeah.
Correct. You should eat correctly in order to get your nutrients. But just as I simply mentioned that zinc is needed in order to convert beta carotene into retinol and into retinolic acid, and you need zinc to convert the retinol into retinolic acid as well. The zinc being so important, most people are unaware of the fact that they are consuming stuff that blocks zinc. Now, does one need to know all of that information? Not necessarily, because you don't need to know the whole biochemistry of all these things in order to know what to eat. If we just eat what we are biologically designed to eat, then we have no problems.
Right.
But we are not eating what we are biologically designed to eat. And this is why we have all these health issues. And as we go along in this series and we look more into the vitamins, we are going to come across more and more scenarios that shows that we do not know what we are supposed to eat.
Yeah.
And this is what I offer with my clinic, because I get people to understand what they are biologically designed to eat, so you don't have to worry about if you're going to suffer from this deficiency or that deficiency. You don't have to worry about if you're getting in enough vitamin E, if you're consuming enough zinc, or if you're consuming any of those things, so that you wouldn't have certain deficiencies. Many people love to go out there and supplement, right? And you have to ask yourself, because many people are supplementing because they have deficiencies, and no one is asking, why is it that you have deficiencies? If you're eating correctly, there would be no deficiencies, right? But most people aren't eating correctly, all right? Now, there are overconsumption of vitamin A, right? For example, beta carotene can cause your skin to turn yellowish, and that can also be, confused with things like jaundice. So people might think they may have a liver disorder, all right, because they might think, my liver is not functioning well, so this is why I'm getting the yellowish discoloration in the skin, all right? But the two conditions are different, all right? Looking at the eyes would actually be a bigger contributor to know which condition you are having.
Looking at the eyes, jaundice, you say?
Yeah, at the eyes. The white in the eyes, if you have jaundice, would be yellow. With overconsumption of vitamin A, it would not be. All right?
Okay.
So that's one of the ways you can tell, of course. But like I said, to avoid all of that and having to know all of that, one needs to correct their knowledge with regards to what we are designed to eat. And this is why I do these consultations and re-education sessions, in order to re-educate people on what is right to eat. Because we could go out there, like I mentioned last week, humans suffer from over 26,000 diseases. Do you need to know all 26,000 diseases? No.
Most likely not,
No one knows all the counterfeit bills it have. Nobody knows that. Right? There are many different ways a counterfeit bill can come. What you do know is how to detect a genuine bill, right? So if people are knowledgeable on what is the genuine diet for the human species, you don't need to worry about knowing all the other diseases and the signs of all the other diseases, because most of the diseases, if not all of them, are caused from either overconsumption of certain nutrients, underconsumption of certain nutrients, and how those underconsumption of those nutrients take place has to do with deficiencies.
Right.
So for example, when it comes to vitamin A, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin, your liver has to be functioning correctly, your pancreas has to be functioning correctly, and your GI tract, which is your gastrointestinal tract, has to be functioning correctly. But there are many things that people are consuming in their daily diet that hinders the functioning of those major organs that are responsible for the body's absorption of these fat-soluble vitamins. So therefore, poor diet can lead to malabsorption, and malabsorption can lead to deficiencies in vitamins that you should not be deficient in. but yet many people are still deficient in, right?
Yeah.
So, having said that, I would hope that people do take the opportunity to try to educate themselves, and let's stop just blindly following things that has no backing. A lot of things we follow is based on rumors, right? And when I say rumors, a rumor that is repeated over and over.
Yeah, but once you repeat it over and over, it then becomes a reality.
Yeah. Even if they are told that it is not true, it just has to keep being repeated, and everyone is going to
becomes
think
true.
that it is true.
It becomes true. That's it.
Currently,
that's how people sell lies. That's how people sell lies. They can tell you about a lie. If you tell a lie long enough, eventually people will believe it as the truth. And I think what has happened, and I think the pandemic was a good example of that, is that
the best example.
That's the best example of it happening. Is that, you know, you've been misinformed about nutrition, because I go through a lot of videos and information myself, and the more and more that I go through these things, it's the more I see people talking about eggs, how important eggs are. It's you know, yeah, and you I remember having a discussion with you, maybe it was 2021 or 2022, and you were telling me how important an egg is, and if people understand how simple nutrition could be, nutrition isn't complicated. It's a very simple thing. Yeah. Once you know what you're doing, and once you
I consume. I consume cooked eggs, so I cook my eggs. You know, many people say they want to drink, you know, and use the raw egg and consume that. But what people don't know, though many people would warn against salmonella poison, that is not the concern I have with eggs. I have something called avidin in eggs. Avidin prevent the body, or it binds with vitamin B7, so you get a blockage of that, which is biotin. Right? But as we go along, we'll come to that. So this is why you want to cook your eggs, not consume your eggs raw, so you could end up with deficiencies, right, if you consume raw eggs. All right. So eggs is excellent, but cook it. The reason why humans are as intelligent as we are is because we cook our food. Right? So let's go with the cook eggs, not the drinking of the eggs and so forth. You could throw yourself in some trouble. Though you have to drink a lot of it to get a deficiency, you don't want to increase any possibility of getting a deficiency.
Right. Because interestingly enough as well, somebody was saying, you know, a lot of people who are on, and this is where the debate starts, and all of the health information comes in on what is healthy and what is not healthy. A lot of people, in terms of like putting out videos and saying, well, you know, you want a healthy breakfast, or you want, you know, well, some people not on the breakfast at all, because they know they're not falling into that breakfast trick or scandal or whatever it is, the sale of breakfast then to sell certain items. But for those who they want to eat a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, they talk about egg whites. And I came across a very interesting video where a guy was explaining that for you to get all the benefits from an egg, you can't separate the white from the yolk after eating the whole egg. You understand?
Look what happens when you separate the white from the yolk, right? The yolk has the fat in it, right?
Yes.
And you need the fat in order to increase muscle protein synthesis. So when you separate the yolk from the egg and you just eat the egg white only, you're reducing muscle protein synthesis because you're not getting the fat from the yolk.
Yes.
So what you can develop from the protein from the white alone is dramatically reduced because you have removed the yolk from the egg. So when studies was done looking at with senior citizens, right, and muscle protein synthesis, they benefited from eating the entire egg. So now it is recommended in the medical and scientific field to consume the whole egg. If you have a doctor that is still warning you about cholesterol in egg, change your doctor. I'm telling you that now, right? Because
that's the other thing. That's the other misconception, is that they tell you if you eat too much eggs, your cholesterol level will go up.
And that is nonsense. That has been removed. There has been no evidence to support that, right? No evidence, because they have done systematic reviews, meta-analysis, and they checked it out. There is no evidence to back that. So anybody that is still pushing that and trying to get you on statin drugs, all right, change from going to that person for any medical or dietary or health advice. They do not know what they are doing. They do not know what they are saying. And I'm saying that live on national TV. If they want, they could come and challenge me with that.
Right now I'm eating, right now I'm telling you, I'm eating like maybe 6, and this is nowhere close to the amount of eggs you consume. But I eat probably about 6 eggs a day, but I only eat 2 meals a day. Right? So I might eat one meal, I might have like 4 eggs with a piece of steak, and then in the evening time I might do a lighter meal. So I might do, because I might be that hungry now. But I kind of, I'm not skipping any breakfast, and I just on, 2 meals. And it depends on if I'm hungry. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. Because I remember telling me, if you're not hungry, don't eat. We're eating for. So it's more water consumption for me, especially as I'm getting ready for the 5K. So, it's like 4 eggs by 2 eggs in the night. I own about 6 eggs. I own half a dozen eggs a day. I know it's the interesting part. People just talk about what the prices on items are in the grocery. But eggs are very affordable still. And they carry so much value that for what? How much are a dozen eggs now? About $28?
I'm not even sure. I buy wholesale.
You buy wholesale, well, right. Well, right.
The quantity.
But if you go to the grocery and you want to buy a dozen eggs, if you're buying wholesale, like set, what is got about 40?
I would buy it by the crate. So
Crate.
30 is like $50, and I pay that for jumbo eggs.
For jumbo eggs, right? And it's affordable, and those eggs are going to last you a few days well, and it carries so many benefits. But I mean, like I said, people have been given information. I mean, it's only now that I am reading more and more about it.
Is, even with eating when you're hungry and not eating when you're not hungry, for some people, they may need to force feed because their body has gotten used to feeding off of itself.
Right.
Some people might say, I'm not eating, and it's because the body is feeding off of itself. So that could be unhealthy for some. But for others, because many people have adopted very bad dietary habits over the years, and because of that, the body has, found other ways in which to get its energy, which some are not as healthy as people think. So while I'm for eating when hungry, that is for those that are in a more healthier state, and those who can observe as to the quantity of what they're eating with regards to how much the body actually needs. They can actually do that more accurately. While some might say, well, I'll only eat when I'm hungry. And I know people that only eat when they're hungry, but they're never hungry. Right? So I've seen people that are anorexic, right? Anorexic because of the fact that they don't feel hungry, right? So the body is just feeding off of itself. So it's something, again, has to be guided. And that's why I tell people, book your appointment. Gain the knowledge that you need. The things that I explain and show people from a scientific point of view are things that should be taught in schools, but are not. And I could only see one reason why they aren't taught in schools. Because if you are educated on proper nutrition, how are you going to get sick? That is no money for pharmaceuticals. That is no money for medical associations. And all these organizations now have been corrupted to the point that it's just for profit. It's all about
it's the medical, right? Everything is a profit,
it's not about keeping you healthy. You talk to any honest doctor and they'll tell you it's a business first. Your health is secondary. It's a business first. Your well-being is secondary.
Money first.
So I really do encourage people to sign up.
All right.
Book
So
your
set
appointment and re-educate yourself.
All right. So Seth, thanks a lot. And people, you could book an appointment with Seth Weil Board on 7611952 or 2793935. Make sure and check him out. Get the information from him first, and then you decide. The choice is yours. Nobody not putting a gun to your head or forcing you into doing anything. We're just saying, look, if this isn't working for you, and you have been spending money on medication, doctor visits, all these things for years upon years, why not try something different? And it's as simple as that, as I could put it. Seth, thanks a lot. We got to wrap up for today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, no problem. Next week. Yeah, so we get controversial this week. That's why, anyhow.